A surprising unannounced visit to Kyiv to meet with President Volodymyr Zelensky, and a high-profile trip to Poland. President Biden showing support for Ukraine and America's NATO allies. 1 year after the start of war, is any end in sight? The Ukrainians are warning a major late-winter Russian offensive is already underway. Well, joining us with more is the Polish Counsel General in New York, Adrian Kubicki. Mr. Counsel General, it's good to have you with us. At the forefront, Poland is there, of course. NATO's defense also in the battle to stop Russia. So how is your country responding to this new major Russian offensive in eastern Ukraine?
Thank you very much for having me. You're absolutely right. We just experienced something that we could call 3 or 4 months a relatively peaceful. But we know, and we have the intelligence resources, that, again, Russia is grouping soldiers along the borderline with Ukraine. And we might expect, we still don't know if that's going to happen or not, but we must expect some new chapter of the invasion, obviously, for Putin. This is something also about saving face after 1 year of, let's put it this way, unsuccessful invasion of Ukraine. He must finally make some progress, which means that it will be very harsh for Ukrainians, but we have to make decisions as the allies of Ukraine, prompt decisions, how to support Ukraine immediately so they respond to the threat appropriately and not allow Russians to make progress with this invasion. So far, it's actually on the contrary. Ukrainians were very successful with pushing back the invaders, at least keeping them as where they are. But we know, and this is obvious, that Ukraine needs our support, the support of NATO.
Well, tell us about the importance then of President Biden's visit. What is the significance, especially for the Bucharest Nine at this time?
I think it has at least 2 dimensions. One dimension is purely symbolic. This is the message sent out to Putin. Actually, 2 messages. First message is that the Western world, the free world, will stand with Ukraine continuously and will continue that support provided to Ukraine. Let's remember that the timing for this visit is not accidental. It's just shortly ahead of this 1 year anniversary of this Russian invasion. So this message has to be clear that even though a year has passed and maybe another months and perhaps even years might pass, Ukrainian will still be provided with that support. And second message is also a message about NATO itself. Message sent to Putin that despite many of his attempts to divide NATO, harm the integrity of NATO alliance, he's not successful, and he's not going to be successful in the future, because NATO is the alliance of countries that are willing to collaborate with each other. We proved over that passing year that our collaboration can be efficient, and this is a message, very important message, particularly sent in Poland, on Polish soil, that this eastern flank of NATO is as important as the western countries of NATO, and that NATO will pay particular specific attention to the security of this region, since this particular region is on the borderline with the ongoing war. So the meeting with B9, which is the Bucharest Nine, consisting of countries of the eastern flank of NATO, there are very specific issues that we would like to bring up and discuss during the meeting with President Biden and his people. One of the topics is the permanent presence of NATO troops, including US troops, in the countries of eastern flank, including Poland. We have a presence of US troops, but we don't have permanent bases in Poland. This is something that, in our opinion, should change, and this is something that we would like to bring up and discuss with President Biden. And other issues also, we would like to share our expertise and our perspective of what's going on in the region. Poland has a very unique, and other countries of our region as well, have a very unique perspective on the reasons behind the invasion, but also the dynamics of what is happening right now in Ukraine. And there are some lessons learned something that we would like to share as well with our colleagues and with our allies.
Well, you talked about security. In addition to sending tanks to Ukraine, including the German-made Leopard 2s, your government has advocated the sending of fighter jets to help the Ukrainians defend their airspace. That's a bit of an item of contention with the Biden administration. So what will it take to convince the United States to supply the jets?
First of all, I wouldn't say that at this present point, Poland is pushing towards taking that decision. Polish President, Mr. Andrzej Duda, made it very clear that this will be probably a little bit longer discussion among NATO allies, and Poland obviously wants to participate, sharing our view whether these jets are appropriate to be sent to Ukraine or not. But I think what has been proven over this passing year is also that NATO is a democratic body which cannot be divided, and none of its member countries will take decisions on its own.
Okay, Adrian Kubicki, Polish Counsel General in New York, thank you so much for sharing your time and insights. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.